I wanted to go over what we went over in class today, Wednesday. I know the internet was really bad. I explained, I don't even know who could hear me at home, but when the middle school meets downstairs in the gym in the morning and everyone is on the internet, it pretty much kicks me off the internet. And so that would be Wednesday mornings because that's when they have their block classes. So there's a new assignment that's going to be due next Monday, September 28th. If the students were in person, they came home with that paper, and if they forgot it or if they were at home, it's also on the stream in 3rd grade A, and it's a PDF, and when you click on it, you can print out one of your pages, or if you want to, you can replicate it on a piece of paper by drawing 5 lines and drawing the notes, so you don't have to print it out if you don't have printer capability. So this is the paper that we were doing for homework, and it is based on the notes that we've been learning, page 12 and 15, which are right next to each other in the binder pages. So what we've been going over this week is the lines and the spaces. I made a video and I believe I already went over these, but today we just continued on the same information. So we have line 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we have spaces 1, 2, 3, and 4. Each of those lines and spaces has a number and a note name. So here are the viola lines, here are the violin lines, and here are the violin spaces. Here are the viola lines, and here are the viola spaces. Here are the cello and bass lines, and here are the cello and bass spaces. So I had also, in my video the other day, I had drawn them up on the board. We have lines 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and spaces 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here were our open strings. There were the violin open strings, there was the viola open strings, and the cello and bass open strings. Okay, so then we came over to page 15. We had the violin notes on the top, we have the viola notes in the middle, and we have the cello and bass notes at the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the note and figure out what line or space that it's on. So for the violin note, it's on the 4th line, and then we come over here and we go to the 4th line, and we see that that note is a D, and it also shows a picture of the note. So what we're essentially doing is matching the picture. So then we would write D right here. The next note is on the 1st space. So we come down here to the spaces. We look at the 1st space. That note is an F. So that's what that note right there would be. So that's the violin line. Then we have the viola line, which we would do the same thing. This is the 3rd space. So we look over here in the spaces, and it is the 3rd space note, and that's a D. So we would write D right here. Cello and bass, we would see what note is on the 3rd line. We would come over here. The 3rd line is the letter D. So then we would put D right here. You only have to do your line of the instrument that you're playing. In this middle section, we're going to circle the notes that are on a space, and we're going to put a square around the notes that are on a line. And we're going to do both of these lines. At the bottom, I asked them to put a star beside the instrument that they played, which is the violin line, the viola line, and the bass line, cello or bass line. And then they're supposed to find these notes. So that note right here, they're going to find which one of those notes matches over here, and that's an A. So the first note or letter is A, and then they're going to put all of the notes down and figure out which word this makes. We went over those in class today. And then so that should be done. Page 15 should be done. And also, we did together page 32 where they had to put they had to circle the notes that were open string notes depending on what instrument they played. And then the homework, I wrote some notes down and they're supposed to figure out what that word is. So they're gonna do the same thing that they were pretty much doing on page 15, but they're just doing a few more exercises. Then for this part, I wrote a word and they're supposed to draw the notes. And the bonus at the bottom, they're gonna draw their clef and then they're gonna try to come up with some words that I haven't used yet. One of those words might be feed. I don't think I used the word feed. So then they would draw an F, E, E, and a D. Now there are a few notes that they don't know. The D for the violins on that first page is that note right there. Another one that goes above the notes that we've done, and I told the violas in class, there's a C, and those are Ds. And in the cello bass line, there are some C's and D's. So there are the answers to those notes.